Hello there folks, welcome to another episode of World of Warships from Gainy Titan. And I was going to show, or at least I had planned to show, an attempt that I made to play the South Carolina in a random battle. But I can't find the damn recording. I can't find either the replay file or the recording. I don't know what I did with it. It's possible I deleted it. I have no idea. In the short answer, I seem to have screwed up in some fashion, and I don't actually have an actual replay file of my attempt to play a battleship in random battles in World of Warships. I was going to show it in conjunction with this gameplay because, well, it didn't go well, essentially. And one can ignore that piece of idiocy as well by me firing the front batteries there, because I just got my left mouse key mixed up my right mouse key. Although apparently Control W does the same thing. It locks the view of the guns so that I can get the guns to point in a certain direction while I free rotate the camera around. I just saw that as a tip. I did this thing backwards really. I had looked up tips for cruiser gameplay when I started playing cruisers, and then I decided to look up to play some World of Warships battleship gameplay on co-op battles, just to see if I get the basics down, like the positioning of the guns, making sure that I had the guns pointed at a useful target most of the time, and this kind of stuff, and that I was able to get shots on target and things like that. And I seem to be managing that at least no worse than I would be in any other fashion. So I thought I'd have a game of World of Warships random battles with the South Carolina. I was wondering too about the matchmaking. Was it going to be a big issue? Now, I tried it in the evening, late evening, and the matchmaking wasn't too bad. I wasn't waiting long in the queue, but I got on anyway, and I got caught in the open essentially. There was an island actually I could have sheltered behind, but I didn't move to the island in time. And then when I did, I was giving too much broadside to a couple of cruisers, and they just burned my ship to the waterline. I also think I didn't manage my my damage control and repair stuff very well as well. And also I think I might have problems with my aiming, in that I'm hitting the ships, but I notice I don't get, even with battleships, I'm not getting a lot of citadel damage. So I may have to review how I aim with armor piercing in order to maximize my chances of getting citadel hits. I'll have to research that one a bit more as well. So what is the basic theory of battleshipping? Well, the basic theory of battleshipping is that, like cruiser fighting, you don't go anywhere on your own. You try and have cruisers and destroyers with you. Ideally a mix of both. I tend to prioritize enemy cruisers because I think I can take them down quickly, and then go for the battleships because they're going to be the more deadlier targets. And I think in some ways destroyers and cruisers are more deadly to battleships in some ways than other battleships are. I think battleships are far more deadly to cruisers than they are to other battleships, although I suppose other battleships is also part of their role. But the other key thing with battleships is you really have to know where you're going and how you're planning to escape out of a fight and various things like that. And I think I wasn't using my damage control intelligently. I've used it here now. As soon as I got behind the island, I put out the fire and I kicked off the repair to get me back up to hit points, so that when I'm in a position to get back into the fray, which I am pretty much straight away, I just need to get the ship moving again and to back up the destroyer as it's making its play into the cap circle here, to capture this circle for our team. And I need to back it up because there's a couple of battleships around and I need to give it support. The other thing then is to prioritize your targets a bit, so I'm inclined not to be doing that. I should probably have saved my shot for the broadside, the cruiser that's giving me broadside, because that would have been a much more effective target to hit. And the other thing is to angle my ship towards enemies that are like to be shooting back at me. so as to make most effective use of my armour, so to bounce as many shots, as much incoming fire as possible. Now, battleships don't do sudden manoeuvres, so I can't chase that cruiser around the island. I'm not going to get any more shots in on it. So my next obvious target really is to swing the guns around and fire at this Tyrann here. He's going to beach himself. So, and he's broadside on, so I might as well give him as much punishment as I can. So normally I've so far in the South Carolina, I've rarely switched away from armor piercing. I've generally used armor piercing completely. So watching my sort of speed and course in order to maximize my firepower and time and opportunities to shoot targets. Now the cruiser's come around and he's at half health, so I've decided I'm going to stay firing at the Tyrann. He's not firing back at me, his guns are pointing the other way. But I think the cruiser is going to be one of my secondary range, and my secondary batteries should be able to deal him with a lot of punishment. Now, I'm probably going to get no more shots off of the Tyrann, so I'm going to now focus on the cruiser with my main batteries. As soon as they reload, or as soon as any of the batteries reload, I'm going to get the forward batteries can't come to bear, so we have batteries to bear now, and we've put some shots in, and then don't know whether that was the primary or secondaries that put him down, but he's out of action. So now I can swing around the island. I can use the island to shield me from one of the ships, and we can get back into action against that Tyrann. There are only 2 enemy battleships left. So the steering ship and keeping the gun in play and keeping close to allies, I'm not too bad on that side of it. Keeping the armour angled, I'm not so good at. And prioritising the right targets is probably something that I'm not good at either. One of the things that I tend to do as well is to over-focus on a ship that say it's going behind an island, in which case I'd have been better off just switching targets to somebody else that's in view and using the broadside. Just keep the guns firing, because they don't fire that often, so any time I'm waiting for a ship to come out of cover and things might very well be time that I might actually be more usefully shooting at something else that's in the similar arc of fire or similar direction, as long as I don't have to rotate the turrets the full 180 degrees. And the final thing then, I suppose, that the tip that's given is the management of your repair party and your ship's heel. And that's another one that I don't necessarily pay attention to. I'm not watching, sometimes I'm watching the damage I'm doing to other guys and not paying attention to the damage that's being done to me. Now, that first salvo was bad. I was underestimating the speed of the South Carolina. And the second salvo is kind of weird, because they should all be, I'm targeting the South Carolina. But if you look at the last 2 guns, the most rearmost battery fires at the Tyrann. I have no idea what's going on there. I mean, I don't know why you should have done that. I managed to hit the Tyrann as well. Completely missed the South Carolina. But now I'm going to have to take attention to the other Tyrann, the enemy one that's actually coming right on top of me. And again here, I go broadside to broadside and start trading broadsides. But I think I'm firing too high in hindsight. I must, again, find out. Should I be firing lower into the waterline or at the waterline to get citadel hits? Because he's done a massive hit to me. I had nearly full hit points coming into this gunfight, and now I am down to my last third of hit points, and I'm losing that rapidly due to the fire. But he's set me on fire with these secondaries, and I don't want to use the heal until I get in the cover. Because if he sets me on fire again, then I'll actually burn out. That would be really bad. Whereas I think I should be able to last until I get into cover, and then I should be able to kick off the repair party, put the fire out, and then use the ship's heal again to start regaining hit points. So a bit slow in doing it. Come on. Finally, come on. I actually used the heal first. Did put the fire out. Okay, that was rather silly of me, really. I used the heal, but I didn't use the repair party there. So I could probably have regained more hit points than I actually did. I also realised the enemy ship is going to come around that island and he's going to be facing me again, and I should maximise my heal before I do so. So I'm actually starting to slow the ship down and actually go into reverse before before the enemy makes the loop around the island and comes back out. So hopefully I will take these lessons to heart and I will try and apply them a bit more in the next few weeks, and I should be able to then start in earnest on the random battles with battleship play, as well as adding cruiser play to my repertoire, and that would be make for more variety, at least in the videos. And I'm probably not ready yet to add destroyer play just because destroyers are just so much going on with them. There's a lot more of an information overload, I think, and just the fact that your torpedoes have such range, and they're just, once they're in the water, people, even allies, can just drive into them, even though they're supposed to know that they're there, that friendly torpedoes are in the water, but they still seem to be able to drive into them. I'm also probably going to sell the Erie to free up a garbage slot in order to get a tier 5 cruiser, and look to seeing getting one of those again. Now I'm bows on at this stage. He's got a lot lower health than I do, and I should be able to tank a lot of his shots, but I don't have to do as much damage, and he is much more inclined to go give me the broadside in order to get all these guns to bear, whereas I'm keeping the front of my ship pointed at him to minimize or maximize the amount of bouncing shots that bounce that I'll get off the front of my armor. So I get rid of him that way, and it's game over, and we've won. The other thing, of course, that I'm going to have to start contemplating as well is buying actual gold to redistribute the skill points on the captains. I have, but I have a captain on the Erie. I don't know how many skill points he's actually got. He probably doesn't have a whole lot already distributed, so I might just make do with him as he stands. But after that, then I may have to actually, if I'm going to recycle captains into higher tier ships, start redistributing skill points, which is going to cost real money. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like and a share if you can. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.